Yeah, good, mate. Yeah. Hope you had a good Christmas.
We've all had a good Christmas.
Yeah.
We're live. It's live. Martin Tyler voice. Jez, take it away, mate. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Hope you're well, mate.
Merry Christmas to you guys and everybody in the chat. And I hope you have a lovely Christmas. And I hope you all have a very, very happy New Year. And let's hope it's a better 2022. And maybe we get rid of this bloody COVID nonsense. And, you know, let's look forward to Arsenal. I quote, Arsenal winning the Champions League, because Arteta said Arsenal will win the Champions League in 3 years. Okay, let's all remember that one. Come next September when we've qualified by finishing in fourth, which is a trophy, as we all know, as Wenger told us, and everybody thinks it is. So I think everything's positive. You know, I can see it all being great. We're going to qualify. We're going to stick it right up all the big teams in Europe, and Arteta will be there beaming with the Champions League trophy, and we'll all be saying, we all got it wrong.
Yeah, it's especially William. I mean, imagine what William will be thinking. Like, you know, he joined for that trophy, didn't he?
Yeah.
How are you, Kenny?
I'm all good. You know what's happened, right? Is that apparently there's been some misconceptions from a lot of people, you know, who, especially people who follow me on Twitter, that you know, that because we've beaten Norwich, the mighty Norwich, and we've beaten you know, West Ham, obviously the mighty Leeds, Southampton, we thrashed Sunderland in the third tier, that everything's back to normal in terms of our success, and that I'm not happy enough, I'm not celebrating enough, and I'm thinking, well, I'm not sure, but I'm sure if you watched my fan cam with yourself, Lee, and also watched my play ratings, I didn't look too unhappy about that performance. I acknowledged the fact that we were playing the worst team in the country on paper, but, you know, you have to earn the right to, you know, play well, and you still have to work hard, and you still have to take your opportunities, and I praise the players for that. So it's a myth, and, you know, the player rating I gave Arteta was 8th. I think people need to get into their, you know, let it rattle in their brain. It's not personal. I don't have idols amongst players, managers, or even like the alleged super fans. I'm only interested in Arsenal Football Club. That's the club I was brought up to love. And, you know, yeah, it could be anything. It could be the grounds, you know, the seats I sit in, or, you know, stands I stood in, or it could be like the bricks and mortar of the old Highbury of the Emirates. I'm interested in the club. I couldn't give a hoot who's the manager. But as far as I'm concerned, and that's my thing, you're an employee of the football club, and you work for the football club, and I'm one of the stakeholders at the football club. So you work for me, Arteta. The players work for me, because because the reason I work for me is because I'm put here to analyse their like performances. And if I'm not happy with it, I'm going to say it. It's not personal. I couldn't care less. You won't hear me singing a song for any of the players, because as far as I'm concerned, you burnt me. You burnt me. Because when you start doing what you did during the Wenger era, or you do a Frank Stapleton or a Viv Anderson, no way am I backing you lot. I'm gonna admire you, what you've done for the club, acknowledge your greatness. But am I gonna, after you leave the club, am I gonna be bothering you, Falkcroft? Not a chance. Move on. That's all I'm about.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Big up to everyone watching, man. Well over 100 in here real quick as well. Fire the likes up, people. It is the last stream of the year, last podcast of the year. I am on with Rants on his Twitch channel later, 3 o'clock UK time. Happy New Year to everyone who's already in New Year. Obviously, a lot of countries around the world are ahead of us. So
Australia.
In the
New Zealand, yeah.
And big up to all of you lot. And we're going to start with Aubameyang. He's already in Dubai. He's met up with the Gabon national team. We've allowed him access to do that. Apparently, he's going to miss 5 games after having missed already, 3 or 4, something like that. And Jez, what I know we seem to be having this conversation every week, every time we do this podcast with Aubameyang. No stories doing the rounds about teams coming in for him. No stories about him wanting to leave. No stories about his contract being terminated or anything like that. He was training on his own. He's obviously been allowed to go and train with the Gabon national side now, where he feels loved. Because obviously that's the case at Arsenal anymore. Has anything changed with you? Like, I mean, obviously we all kind of like Aubameyang, but I think we all understand that he may have took the mick. We don't really know, actually, if we're being honest. But do you think he's still got a future, or is it dead and buried now, and that he's played his last game?
Personally, I think we've talked about this before. I think there's a big rift between Arteta and Aubameyang that always has been. Let's go back in history. Ever since Arteta's been here, Aubameyang has been shit, and I just don't think Aubameyang likes Arteta's style of play. I think he probably finds him arrogant. We know Arteta is a very arrogant man. He's proven that on so many occasions. And I honestly would say, sadly, in one way, I think Aubameyang's time is done. He's coming to his peak, let's be honest. He's lost a yard of pace. He's not the deadly striker he was when he first came here. I really rated him, to be fair. Gave us good service. But sadly, for whatever reason, we don't truly know the reason. I think he's done. And if his days are done and we're going to get rid of him, then I wish him all the best. And I hope his career comes to a fruitful end wherever he ends up.
Yeah, 100%. Kenny, have you got a TV on, mate?
Oh shit! You know what's happening. I do this all the time.
I was thinking, is that Jez getting feedback, or is that a TV on in the background?
No, not at all. You know what's happened. You know, like the news is just like it's like really prolific. I'm talking about sports news, not the horror news we've had in the last couple of days from New York City. I'm talking about football news.
100%. What do you think of Aubameyang, mate? What do you see happening with him?
Well, the thing is, it's only one way this can go. It's not going to go well for the football for long term for anyone concerned with a football club or has the football club's interests at heart. You can't go from the captain to being like one of the lads, which is punishment enough. But you're getting banished as well. So everything's been done in public. There's no way back. I don't care. Even back in the 80s and 70s when players didn't have that much the power. They still had power, but not the player power they have now. You could just manage can just about get away with it. But someone like Arteta, everyone's praising him, and he's compatriot from like I said, his compatriot, the Catalan, Pep, about how they're keeping every control and everyone must admire and blah blah. But Grealish and Foden missed one game. They weren't captains of the club. It's not really much of a punishment. It was an open goal. But in terms of the Aubameyang thing, there were 2 open goals. But the most important is that you've elongated the punishment. And as Jess says, there's no way you can elongate a punishment if there isn't kind of a sub-story to it, i.e. an argument about how they want the club to go forward, how Aubameyang is getting service, because he still wants to be the top goal scorer at the football club, and the pattern of play. So they would have argued about that because he would have felt that as the captain, he has a right to question his boss' tactics. So that could be an angle. Or it could be another angle. He said, apologise to me in front of the squad. He said, no chance. These lads look up to me. As far as I'm concerned, I am more money than them. I'm a bigger star than them. Stuff it. I'm going to apologise to Smith Rowe and Saka. Are you having a laugh? Are you treating me like a pork chop? No way. Up yours. Now, I'm not saying this happened, but in a circle of life, and we've all led life, I'm just thinking about the sort of things that can make you fall out your boss and make you say, stuff it, I'm not interested. And then you get banished or, sent to the naughty step or even suspended. These are the things I know from my experience of what happened. Doesn't mean it happened, but if any of those things had, occurred, then there's no way back for Oba. No way back. What, you're missing Man City at home, even though you're going to the, like I said, to the, the African nations, but you've been told to train on your own and be banished, and your manager's basically, saying things like, even basically not even acknowledging you. He's not even mentioning you by name, and you think that relationship is retrievable. Dream on, mate. Dream on. It ain't happening.
No,
It ain't happening.
We don't even know what's happened. All we know is that he's broke protocol. What does that even mean?
Yeah, but the thing is, but the thing is, he was actually more complimentary to Mesut Ozil when he banished him than he was to Aubameyang. It was like he's smiling and boom, and he looks like the cat that got the cream. As to say, I've won this argument, and there's nothing you can do about it. He can scream, but the fans back me, the manager back me, and I've got the results. Stuff you, I've won this argument. You could tell in his demeanour, and the fact that he doesn't acknowledge him. So no way back, and we've got to move on. But this will bite him up the arse if he genuinely thinks that the current side is going to be the team that's going to take him forward. You always have to mix, a bit of experience and with youth. I'm not talking about experience and age. I'm talking about ready-made quality in order to push on, because and then the youths evolve year by year. But you have to have some sort of quality or straight experience.
I think it proves one clear fact to me about Arteta. He has favourites. Let's go back and look at Bellerin. I mean, how can a player like Xhaka, who has told us all to do well against Watford, he's done other various things, like got sent off in crucial games, cost us the game. In my book, he certainly helped put the nail in Theobald's coffin. I've got his name now, the manager, Emery. And yet he goes off injured and slots straight back in the side. And Aubameyang, who I believe has given better service to Arsenal personally, and he gets banished. All because I think you're quite right in what you're saying. There's something's been said. Probably Aubameyang was asked to apologise in front of the squad, and he said, "Stuff that. That ain't happening." Did Jack apologise to the squad? No, he didn't. And so why are you treating me like a petuous child? So to me, there is a big rift between Arteta and Aubameyang, and there always has been.
The second subplot as well is that I think that the spectre of Unai Emery has a lot to do with it, because people, especially like Wenger fans and Arteta fans, seem to forget that we won't hear much from Wenger, but you seem to forget that the Spanish coaching, coaches are like a mafia. They stick together. And let's face it, Unai Emery, and I want to sort of educate the pork chops amongst our fan base, who suddenly become football experts and haven't got the the balls to admit that Unai Emery was like a no-goer because he replaced Arsene Wenger. Just admit it to yourselves. Inventing all reasons to say, "Oh, it was Emery was a shambles and this was a shambles." Yeah, it wasn't so much a shambles when he picked up silverware in May in Poland. It isn't much of a shambles when he managed to, on a tight budget, to get VRL in the last 16. But he's a crap coach.
Kenny, the whole squad's worth 12 million quid. We pay about
exactly. So I think that it seems like the players who may have disrespected Unai Emery are on his list and on Arteta's list. Is right. They did it to my mate, my fellow boss. They're not doing it to me. So I want people in the fan base to get it around their little brain that Arteta has a lot of respect for Unai Emery, and Unai Emery has a lot of respect. And I just think I've seen it with a lot of managers that they get given a dossier on the troublemakers in the squad. and then slowly but slowly, although they say they don't make, like I said, they're going to make their own mind. Don't believe it for 1 minute. Look at all the people who've been given a Frank Boff. Kolasinac about to get a Frank Boff. Guendouzi about getting Frank Boff.
Pepe
who's never getting a Frank Boff. Aubameyang getting a Frank Boff, and the biggest name of all, Mesut Ozil getting a Frank Boff. Well, this is all. Let's just face it. This is the coach that was finally who's going to give my guy a clear path, i.e. Mesut, into like setting up proper tactics for him to thrive. No, he didn't. He used him, and then after lockdown, thought, stuff it. I don't need him. Off he goes and banished him. Did the same things as his mate. So you can't kind of, like I said, underemphasize the influence Unai Emery will still have on Arteta's mind, especially as Dossé made legend. No, that's not factual. I'm just going through scenarios, but there's no doubt that everyone says Unai Emery lost a dressing room and blah blah. Well, few players have left that dressing room since Arteta's come back. Just what I'm saying.
100%. And the thing is as well, like I said, number one, we don't actually know what's happened because he's hung him out to dry. But then he's not said why he's hung him out to dry. He's just said he broke protocol. Well, that is so wishy-washy. It's mad. That could leave that open to any interpretation, which is why he's done it, because he'll know that the majority of fans are back him over the player, right? Which is why he's done it. So now, after 5 straight wins, oh, we don't need Aubameyang. We don't need him. Well, we might not need him against Southampton and against Norwich. Might need him against Man City and Tottenham, though. Yeah, might need him against Man United. Might need him against other teams later down the road. Because I'll tell you something now, if Martinelli gets injured again, and Saka and Smith Rowe dip a little bit in their performances, and Laka don't score many goals anyway, then what? All it takes is for Martinelli to be injured, and we're back to square one again.
I think that's the thing. I think what it is that Aubameyang's got kind of credit in the bank because of what he's done before. But if you want to sort of like turn it around, the reason why I think he's getting away with it, and the reason why a lot of fans are thinking, all right, I back him, is because, as Jez says, he's lost. We feel, Jez feels he's lost the yard of pace. I feel he lost the yard of pace. I don't know how you feel about the same thing, but
100%, mate. I see Johnny Evans and Grant Hanley catch him up. You
can't emphasize that a little bit of yard of pace can seriously cloud your effectiveness.
Yeah, but that's the thing, Kenny. Yeah, you won't need that yard of pace if you're playing in the penalty box, which is where he does all of his best work. If you're trying down the left wing and you're trying to dribble and you can't dribble, you can't trap a ball, you've got no physical strength. Yeah, you're off the ball movement is what makes you an elite striker, and that is in and around the penalty box. Ever since Arteta's come in, he's played him left wing. Yeah, and he only played 11 times at left wing at Borussia Dortmund. So I don't know why we've played him left wing so often, right? And when we look at it, go on, mate. Sorry, go on.
No, sorry. No, carry on what you're saying, then I'll come in.
Well, I was going to say, when you look at it, Unai Emery, for as bad as he was towards the end of his Arsenal career, right, he got the best out of him. That guy won the Golden Boot. Yeah, drew with Salah. Yeah, Mane, whoever it was. Lacazette was player of the season for us, albeit it was a fan vote, and we know our fans can be a little bit deluded at times.
Well, they were right that season.
Yeah, they were right that season because Lacazette was our best player. Yeah, and Aubameyang won the Golden Boot. So what's changed? The only thing that's changed is the manager and the system. Because now we're not playing that attacking football. We're not open as well. People say we're not as open at the back. Well, we were against Liverpool, and we were against the better teams. When I look at us now, we're so boring to watch at times, and it's only the last couple of games where we've bagged 5 goals here and 4 goals there. We have been a lot better in terms of going forward the last 4 or 5 games. But you have to take into account the teams that we've played. Yeah. People will say, "Oh, but Man United." I don't give a shit about Man United. Yeah, Man United beat Norwich by a dodgy penalty, right? They drew with Newcastle. We beat both of them comfortably. Yeah, but Man United could go and beat Man City. We ain't. Man United could go and beat Chelsea. We ain't. I've seen Brighton play Chelsea off the park the other night. Literally played them off the park. More passes, more shots on target, and Danny Welbeck scoring in stoppage time. When was the last time we went to Stamford Bridge and totally played Chelsea off the park. I know we've had draws there and stuff like that, but when was the last time
No,
we played?
I think we had a shithousery win last year with no crowds, where we got a gift from heaven from Ariza Balaga. Then Smith Rowe.
This is my point. If teams like Brighton, this is why I get the ump with it, lads. Yeah, if teams like Brighton can go to Anfield and get 4 points in the last 6 there, and they can go to Chelsea and get a point, and their squad costs 200 million quid, and ours costs nearly 600 mil, and they've got how many players in that squad would you say would get in Arsenal's team? Basuma, that's probably it. That's probably it. Maybe Lamptey, but flavour of the month, Tomiyasu. He ain't really done much wrong, to be fair. But yeah, Basuma's probably the only player. And it's like, so how can a manager with a worse squad compete with the biggest teams? It's because he's a better coach, a better manager, and he has a proper system, and he don't change his system according to the team he plays. Sometimes he'll get spanked like he did against Man City this season, but you expect Brighton to get spanked by Man City, right? You expect that. Their squad's like, they've got fucking Malpai up front, for God's sake, with Danny Welbeck, and then Trossard in the wing. We're looking at our squad going, well, we've got the best young player in the league over there. We've got another one over there. We've got Thomas Partey, world class.
Don't you think it's mental, though? Don't you think it's a mental block? Because, they accused Spurs of having the mental block before. And then, and it was always a case where they had an inferior complex. Well, our records in terms of like beating teams away from the big clubs away from home, and it hasn't been great, even from, let's just say, from 2004, when the Invincibles, our away record against the big boys, the top 6, let's face it, it's been abysmal. It's absolutely abysmal. And I think, Wenger could take, obviously a lot of the blame from that, because not because it's personal, but the results shout a lot. And Unai Emery wasn't that great against the top 6, although Aubameyang had a lot to do with that at Wembley, didn't he?
The thing is, you say that, like, we lost 3-1 at Anfield, but that was the last time I actually remember us having a go at Anfield. That was when Firmino did that no-look goal, didn't he? He got a hat-trick against us. Yeah, but we actually had a go in that game. We played decent football, and we were slightly unlucky at I think it was 2-1. I think Aubameyang missed a decent opportunity to make it 2-2. They went up the other end, 3-1, game finished. We drew with Liverpool at home. Lacazette scored. We were there. We beat Tottenham, standard. And against Man City, even though we lost the game, it weren't embarrassing 5-0 spankings. Do you know what I'm saying? And when you look at the squad, and I'm not just sitting there trying to twerk for Unai Emery, because I wanted him sacked at the end of his reign, right? But at the end of the day, we haven't progressed. I genuinely don't see it. I don't see it.
Well, I don't blame you, but I think what's happened is that I think the contribution to your anger towards Arteta, again, I don't think it's personal, is that the only reason why you wanted a manager you respected to be sacked is because you assumed, like I did, I don't know what Jez felt, that by sacking Unai Emery, we were going to get a big name. And I think that's where the condensation comes from me. I don't know, I can't speak for you or Jez. And that's probably why subconsciously I thought, it's not personal against you, mate, but I don't want you here, because simple reason is that I associate, I'm sick and tired of seeing the big 6 get big name managers, and we're just being like typical Arsenal. Terrible from top.
This comment here is funny. This comment here is funny. Big up to Nathan Barry for watching. Happy New Year, mate. Using Unai Emery as a stick to beat Arteta with is embarrassing. Bro, if I can use Arteta as a stick to beat himself with, like, what's the point in me comparing him to Arsene Wenger? Arsene Wenger was here 2 decades. So I'm going to compare him to a manager that was here for pretty much the same length of time, who in his first season got us to a Europa League final and finished 2 points off 3rd. Now, if Mikel Arteta does that this season, he can't. He's not in Europe. So if Mikel Arteta finishes 6th, leave it in the comments. Let me know, because it'd be interesting to hear your opinion on it. If Mikel Arteta finished 6th this season, would you class that as a good season if he didn't win anything? I'd like to know what you think on that, because we sacked Arsene Wenger for finishing 4th, 5th, 6th. That's what we did. We sacked him for that. Then we sacked Unai Emery for finishing 5th, 2 points off 3rd, getting embarrassed in the Europa League final, and then sitting 9th, I think it was, or 8th, or whatever it was. 6 points or 7 points off 4th, by the way, with 25 games to go. with a squad that, if you looked at it, was embarrassing. Lichtsteiner, Socrates, Torreira. Yeah, our fan base can't stand Guendouzi, so we can throw him in there. Danny Welbeck, Petr Cech. You know, these are players that our fans said were crap. We had to get rid of. So if he could do that with literally no money spent, really, I think he spent 70 mil. Why should I not sit here and hold this manager accountable for spending £250 million and us being, what, one position higher currently after 2 years? Why? Whenever fans mock other clubs about the gold trophy, you're holding the club to a trophy standard. So why can't I? It makes no sense. So yeah, leave it in the chat. Let me know, bruv. But yeah, go on, Jez, mate. Sorry, I cut you off as you were about to get in full flow, mate.
No, not at all. No. You know, the thing is with Arsenal and managers, we always seem to be the team, and we can go back in history, can't we? That we always seem to go for not the elite. We had the likes of Bertie Mee, Terry Neal, like George Graham. We got him. He wasn't a top line manager. He was a great manager for Arsenal. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking him at all. But we always seem to be just down a bit. We don't seem to have the ambition to go out and get a top class manager. I mean, when Wenger came, you know, we got him in from Japan.
Mm.
He wasn't like a top elite level manager. All right, he had a brilliant footballing technical brain, and he did amazing things for Arsenal Football Club. None of us can deny that. Unfortunately, he stayed too long. He treated the club as though it was Wenger Arsenal, and that's where, unfortunately, I started to lose faith in the man. And the fact, you know, we know about the fact of we had to sell our best players because we needed money. Well, that's total bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, let's just clear that one up. That is absolute bullshit. And, you know, the fact that we became a selling club, a great big club like Arsenal becomes a selling club to Man United, Man City, you know, that to me is where the lack of leadership in Arsenal over history has always been there. You know, I can't honestly sit there and think of in my lifetime of supporting Arsenal where we've gone out and said, right, we're going to get the best.
Mm.
We accept mediocrity. And unfortunately, that mediocrity has spread through our fan base now. You know, there were times back in the days where Arsenal fans would not accept mediocrity. They wanted success. Because Arsenal, from the 70s through, right, the middle 70s, 80s was a pretty poor time. But as you went through after that, we'd usually win something every couple of years. All right, we had the golden period where we got the golden trophy. But, you know, let's not jump up and down about that, because we didn't win it the following season. We didn't do what Man United were doing in that same period. They were winning league after league after league. And they continued to go on winning like that. And of course, every team goes down and comes back up. But what I don't see with this, and I just cannot get my head around this, I don't see us going forward. I don't see it. Because I don't think, and you know, Arteta, I know you're probably sat at home right now watching this, you know, you to me, and it is not a personal thing. I've never met you in my life. I've seen you play on the pitch. I didn't think you were great when you were at Arsenal. And I'm sorry, you are not an elite level manager. And I don't think you ever will be. And unfortunately, it's going to take time and pain for us Arsenal fans to actually see a big change, because I honestly believe that the whole situation, there are too many people involved that will accept mediocrity, as we've done over the years.
100%. The thing is, Jess, I think you know the thing about the Wenger is, and you know, like, don't get me wrong, you know, we all went through that phase with Arsene where if he was on TV, we just said to people, "Excuse me, the boss is speaking, be quiet." Or you get your kids and you say, "Right, that's Arsene Wenger." Shh. And we had, I did it with my own mum, my brother, you know, even in-laws who don't even support Arsenal. Shh, the boss is speaking. But if you look at it organically, after 98, we didn't actually win anything for 4 years until 2002. But what we could see during those 4 years in between 98 and 2002 was progress. We knew we was building a new side after Petit and Overmars left, because that was when we got Henry after Nelka left, and then we got Perez to replace Overmars, and then we got we got Bizem and Teme, Laren, to replace Dixon. So we were evolving, and obviously Ashley Savinho first for Dixon, and then Ashley Cole came along. We could see an involvement, and then we beat that great side. Oh, I still think the best side I've ever seen was a 2002 double winning team in Spirit Invincibles. And then we had a situation where we didn't win anything, but we didn't kind of see the degress, because we thought that when we had the Emirates, I generally wanted to move to the Emirates because I bought into what Arsene said.
I don't think there was anyone that was against it, Kenny, at the time, because we were a winning team.
I thought we compete, and I thought that we would actually have a chance to dominate football. But if you look at it, it was only after probably 2006, after you got to Paris in the final, that you could actually see the decline, but we were in denial. And then people started getting angry when they actually saw it. But as Shez says, since Arsene's left, it was in decline before he left. But it's just got to a situation where you just can't see us, getting to the top table under not just his manager, but I think that as much as I respect the fact that the Kroenkes are spending a lot of money, and then, like I said, they're doing what we asked them to do, because obviously Josh said on TV that now we've had full ownership, we have to spend the big money, because we have to spend what the big clubs are in. Shake your hand, well done, mate. But your ambition and your attention to detail means that I'm not satisfied, because I think that the people you're employing are not the top caliber. Now, if you think that they're not the top caliber, so obviously Youngberg's too, sorry, mate, you think they're not the top caliber, I get that. But maybe if you stepped aside and got someone in with big balls and who was really arrogant, who generally believes that for my ego, I want Arsenal Football Club to win trophies and be the sort of top side. You know what I mean? Top side. And I'm going to pay money for it, and I'm going to say, right, you're sacked, you're sacked, you're sacked, you're not good enough, you're sacked. Then I think that's the only way Arsenal are going to compete, because I think what's happened is that people like me, people aren't listening to all three of us when we say we're the third biggest club in the country. They're not listening to the fact that we should be competing. They're not having it. They're not having it. There's a guy who you don't particularly get on with, but I think I was got addicted to him because I saw him on the Gooner Ramble. Was obviously was Warren. Me and he always have debates. I love the fucking bloke a bit, and he always said to me, "Ken, remember one thing, right? You're older than me. We're the biggest club in the country. We should be competing." And that was always his feel. And I thought, you know what, this guy's right. And I think that's the thing. Not enough of people think that. They accept Man City's dominance. They accept Chelsea's thing. And they say, look, our time will come. And they accept the cycle of success, and that we're spoiled.
Yeah, that's a great point as well, because people sit there and say, we can't compete with Man City. Okay, well, how are Liverpool competing with them then? Because they spend less than us. And they have done for years and years. And I'll tell you why they compete with them, because they've got an elite manager. He might be a whiny little bitch after games where he ain't won, but he is an elite football manager, right? And then people go, oh yeah, but they've sold big money players, and that's how they got their team. Okay, cool. So why can't we do that then? Why did we let Alexis walk out for Mkhitaryan? Yeah, why did we let Aaron Ramsey walk for nothing? Why have we let so many players down the years walk for free?
We're going to let it back in with nothing soon.
Well, exactly. We've spent £250 million in 2 years under this manager. How dare we want a success out of the back of that? How dare we want a title challenge off the back of that? If you actually look at it, I think we've got the 14th most expensive squad in world football. Right? And people, I want to highlight this comment as well. Big up to Peter Bissett. Amazing how people have stuck to their opinions while ignoring all of the changes that have happened in the last 2 years. Cheer up, man. Yeah, big up to you. Happy New Year, mate. Hope you had a good Christmas.
Happy New Year, Peter.
I've stuck to my opinions because I'm doing it based on information received. And the information received is that we still ain't fucking good enough.
What change? Peter, please tell me, because obviously I know absolutely zip about Arsenal Football Club. You know, I'm new to this club. Tell me the change. Please tell me what.
No, but the changes he's talking about, Jez, and what all these Arteta fans sound exactly the same. They're exactly like the Wenger fans back in the day when they were having a pop at me and Kenny for not wanting to manage it. You're disrespectful. You can't see what he's doing. F off down the lane. Yeah. If you can't see what's changed in the last couple of years, what he's talking about is all the players that have left. Well, that's not a miracle. Every club does that. Yeah, he's talking about players that we've signed. Well, that ain't a miracle. Every club does that. Backroom staff. Well, every club does that. Putting people in coaching and scouting roles at the club. Well, everyone does that. It's not rocket science. You're trying to make out that Arsenal Football Club are doing something revolutionary that no other football club's doing. They're signing players, they're selling players, and they're doing what they should be doing as a football club. What are you talking about? We have signed £250 million worth of players in 2 years. And I see a lot of comments on these videos saying, you're deludedly because you think that we should be in a title challenge with this squad. No, I think that we should, with £250 million spent, be doing that with a proper manager that wouldn't have half of this squad because he wouldn't have gone with Project Youth. Yeah, that's not to say Project Youth them players ain't doing bad, because they ain't. They're doing pretty well. But if we had, say, Antonio Conte when Arteta came in, do you think this squad would be the squad we've got now?
No.
We'd be in a title challenge with £250 million spent. Yeah, and that is why all three of us, Peter, get the ump. Because there's other managers out there that would be in project title, not project lower the standards for another 4 years in the hope these kids grow and smash it together. By which time, if they do, Liverpool are buying one of them, City are buying one of them, Madrid are buying one of them, then we're back to square one again. Can I
just put a question to Peter? And I mean this in all seriousness. If you think there's been change in 2 years, please tell me, how much longer have we got to wait?
Great question.
For us to challenge for a title? Because we are about to go through the longest period in Arsenal's history without winning a league title.
Yep. And that's the point as well, right? That's a great question. How long is it before this manager is allowed to be questioned? Because he spent $250 million, mate. When I see our fans sitting there saying, "Oh, Man City bought the title," and Chelsea brought Lukaku for 100 million, and remember, Chelsea made a profit in the summer. Yeah, we made 125 million loss on what we spent in incomings and outgoings. Not a loss in terms of players are on the pitch, so it's not a loss. But in terms of money spent, we never recouped what we spent. Chelsea did and more. So I don't see why people sit there and have to allow a manager a free hit, a free pass after 2 years in the job and £250 million spent. What other football club on the planet would operate like that? So when is it acceptable for us to have a go at him and dig him out? But the acceptance of fourth is a trophy goes back to Arsene Wenger, and the majority of our online fans grew up in the Arsene Wenger era. So
you know what I think
that they've listened to a decade of his bullshit, right? And they're all accepting that. Oh, look at us, we're fourth in the table after 19 games. I'll bet anyone we ain't after 38. I'll bet anyone that.
You know what? I actually respect Peter. You know the reason why I respect Peter? One, because he came at us, but most importantly, it's the reason why I respect Peter, because I don't know Pete. But what I do know is that the majority of football fans are, and like I said, are hot and cold. They do suffer greatly when we lose, and they hate everyone. They want the manager sacked, and then when we win, it changes. And the majority of football fans are like that. And I don't personally agree with that, because I generally want some sort of consistency. And they're saying, all right, you guys want Arteta out, blah blah, praise him when he's doing well, and with the same energy you're bashing him when he's not doing, when things are not going well. That's fine. But the thing about it is that it's not Arteta or beef with. My beef is that after 2 years, he was brought in because Unai Emery couldn't get us in the top four. The same reason why Arsene Wenger couldn't get in the top four. And his remit, I thought, and obviously I've been proved wrong, was that I assumed that by forsaking a big name, we were going to get this guy who's going to be elite, and that he was going to get us in the top four, and then from the top four, he's going to build something where we're going to compete. That is what I didn't buy into him, but what I bought into is that the reason why managers were fired, because the Holy Grail, which became the top four instead of the title, wasn't being met. So in that respect, I'm not happy with the situation, because yes, I am going to celebrate wins, because what do you think I'm? What am I, a pork chop? Of course I'm going to celebrate if we win. I don't care when we're playing Bognor Regis or bloody playing Boreham Wood. I'm going to celebrate Arsenal winning. I'm going to go on my Instagram and go and raise my fist. What, a pork chop? What? Some brought up around, the Finsbury Park Holloway Road area, Andover Estate. But before that, the Holy Park Estate in Crouch Hill. What? Me? Not want to ask to win? Do me a favour. Am I a pork chop? Of course I want us to win, but I'm not going to. But if you want me to celebrate mediocrity, I'll tell you one thing, right? I'm going to take you to butchers. I'm going to put you along all the pork chops and bloody cook you, because I'm not about that.
Exactly. Spot on. Listen, big up to everybody watching live. Nearly 500 people watching. Smash the likes up. Happy New Year to everyone. We have got a game tomorrow, Jez.
Yeah.
Early kickoff after New Year's Eve. That's probably going to be a lot of people traveling to the game with a hangover. A lot of people might just stay up for the night and travel there. Are you positive in any way, shape, or form that we can get something? We haven't scored a goal in the last 5 league games against them. We've lost 9 straight league games to them. They're in full flow at the moment. And I've crashed. What happened there? I froze. They're in full flow at the moment. They're top of the table for a reason. They're the best team in the league. Is this a free hit, Jez?
Well, first of all, I don't believe in free hits. That's a bullshit comment. Well, let's put it into context. It's an early kickoff, and let's be honest, Arsenal don't like early kickoffs. And it's City, so oh dearie me, it's going to be a set. I'm always positive, but I have to be realistic in the fact that we're playing the best team in England at the moment. We've got a supposedly tighter defence. Well, let's see what happens tomorrow. I can't see us getting the 3 points out of this, or even a point. My prediction for this is going to be a 3-0 loss. I don't think we'd get hammered at home. We're not going to get spanked like we did at their ground. Well, God, please no. But I think, unfortunately, it's going to be a bad start for our football season in 2022. And I'd love to say I'm going to be wrong, but I can't see it, sadly.
Let me get a couple of comments in there as well. Some guy called Edwin said, I think most American fans are more level-headed than most natives. Bro, there's a lot of level-headed podcasts out there you can go and watch. You don't have to watch this one, mate. This is called the Real Talk podcast for a reason, buddy.
Ed, stop being biased, mate. What I've got to say to you, Ed, is that, we all come in shapes and sizes. We all come from different parts of the globe, and we all have different expectations. It's called an individual fan experience. Maybe you should look that up before you start criticising. It's not personal. You've got loads of choice. We'll love you to stay in here so we can indoctrinate you, because I think that's what you need after that comment. and also you're now a pork chop, qualified pork chop. You're in that corner as well. So any more comments, right? And you're going to we're either going to fry you, put you in the oven, or just put you in a sort of like I said, next year's Christmas thing. So calm down, mate.
Yeah, big up to Sahid as well. What are you guys going to say if Arsenal finish top 4 this season, especially Lee, that said we would not finish come end of the season? People support the team. Let me tell you something, mate. All 3 of us wanted Arsene Wenger sacked. 2 of us were going week in, week out, me and Kenny. So even though we wanted the manager sacked, we supported the team on match day and put our Arsene Wenger agendas, if you want to call them agendas, outside the stadium down near the Armory. We wrapped them up, tucked them there, sat there and put our tickets in and went and supported the players for a 90-minute period. No disrespect, right? But how does it change you supporting the team? What I say or what Kenny says or what Jez says, as long as you support the team, how you want to support them, how does it make it any different? Do you think the team are sitting there going out on the pitch imagine this, right? They're sitting there tomorrow, AirPod Albert's in there saying, listen, Lee Gunner said we're going to get smashed today. Yeah, Jez don't fucking rate Arteta. He calls him a prick. Yeah, and Kenny said it ain't personal, but he wants him sacked. Yeah. Do you think the players are going to go out there and go, oh my God, they all want, oh my God, it's all our fault that we get pumped? It ain't, is it? Stop being so fucking ridiculous, mate. Seriously. Yeah, the fact and reality is, if we finish top 4 this season, that is 3rd loser. The aim of elite sport is not to finish 4th, my friend. Yeah, it's to finish 3rd, especially when you've done £250 million. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, Kenny, whilst I go and grab myself a nice beer, give us your thoughts on the game tomorrow. Do you think AirPod Albert can get something out of the game, or is it going to be, well, it don't matter. It's Man City. They're the best team in the league.
Or he'll be an absolute fool if he's going to treat it like any fan that causes a free hit is an absolute pork chop. And, any player that, falls for that kind of theme is a pork chop as well, because this is a really good opportunity because, there is a lot of praise for Arsenal from, people who've been slagging us off for years are praising their youngsters, are praising the manager, and, since the Everton loss, statistically, we're in really good form. It doesn't matter whether we beat, the crap in front of us. You could always say that Man City have beaten the also-rans as well. So really and truly, the players should go there with a lot of confidence. And most importantly things is that they have to understand they've got to have to make 2 things they've got to do. Don't let if Man City score the first goal, you might as well, prepare to find out what's happening in EastEnders and Emmerdale because you ain't going to win that game. But the onus in Arsenal is for 2 reasons. 1, make sure you score first, and 2, be prepared to run your nuts off, because I'll tell you one thing, you're going to have to cover a lot of bloody meters, mate. A lot of bloody meters, because I'll tell you one thing, right? They are going to dominate possession, and they're not going to change the way they play. They've got players can hurt us from all over the pitch, so which means concentration, which means players like Saka and Smith Rowe, who love all these things, are going to have to be prepared that you're going to have to basically engage your brain and think, right, sacrifice. Shape. Doesn't matter how tired you are, find another gear, because you ain't going to have much of the ball. But when you do get the ball, you have to be able to have the balls to basically say, right, let's attack in numbers, and any chance we get has to be clinical. Hit the target, not a problem. Force a save, but it has to be clinical. Under no circumstances must attack break down, because when attack breaks down, we're going to get outnumbered, which means, by all means, be prepared that when you do go on the front foot, you have to be able to basically go on a turn and learn that quick, because if you don't, Man City are going to hit us with all those gaps, and before you know it, it's going to be 5-6 3-part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 passes, boom, straight at goal. And then what will happen? We get the defence get outnumbered, boom, tapping, game over. Can't have that. So that's the only way we've got to win. But the mindset has to be, look, we're playing with a bit of confidence. Martinelli's playing well. Saka's, got a bit of form. Odegaard's playing good football. This is a litmus test now. Let's see how good you guys are. Don't kid yourselves and excuse yourself and give yourself a day off because it's only Man City. Well, that's all right. How are you going to test yourself and prove that you're a top player? You can't turn up for a game like this. You may lose. You might get a point. You may win it. But can you imagine the enjoyment you'll get if you win this game? Trust me, mate. This will put you in such good stead and put you in great confidence to the extent that when you do, get Liverpool at home and Man United, you think, well, we've beaten the best team in the country, who we believe are better than Liverpool, better than Man United. And then we go to Tottenham and we never win. You know what? We've beaten Man City at home and think, right, I think it's about time that we, right the wrongs of last season when they beat us and just put men behind the ball in the time when they nicked the 2-1 win. I think that's what the mindset has to be. If we can beat City, then we can go on and beat anybody and no fear. So this is the incentive. And if you don't, but if you go there and do what Brentford did and go 1-0 up, so let's keep the score down. Let's make sure we like I said, mark all their runs and get men behind the ball. And we only lost 1-0. So well done. And their fans cheering. Come on, mate. We're better than that.
Well, the thing is, I suppose if you're Brentford, it is a great moral victory, isn't it? 1-0.
Well, Crystal Palace used to go up there and do something. Leicester have gone there and done it
this season. 2-0, wasn't it?
Yeah, Leicester have gone for great things. Yeah. So all I can try and say is that if Leicester can, get 3 goals at the Etihad, if Crystal Palace can go there and win, if Spurs can beat them under, like I said, the Espírito Santo, why not us?
Oh, 100%. 100%, mate. Big up to everybody watching in the chat. Make sure you are smacking the likes up, people. This is the only stream I'm doing today. I am on with Rants in 2 hours from now, 3 o'clock UK time, on Twitch, Rants' Twitch channel, Rants and Bants Official. There was a comment in here. There it is from Lenny Braithwaite. Great history lesson. Nice to reminisce. What do you think of the rebuild now? Will we ever compete again? Jez, what do you think to that, mate?
Yeah, we will. We will compete again. It will happen. But whether it will ever be in my lifetime, I don't know. But yeah, unfortunately, there's so many things have got to change at Arsenal. Let's forget about on the pitch. We've seen it so many times over the years. The hierarchy is all wrong. I've got no faith in the senior management of Arsenal at all. I think they're just there to enjoy themselves. I'll say it again. I've said it 1,000 times. Arteta is a prick. He will not take Arsenal forward. I don't care what anybody says. People sitting there, I've seen a few comments already, getting top 4. Top 4 achieves fuck all. All it does is get you into Europe where we'll get our asses raped. We're not good enough. We don't have the leadership. We don't have the structure. All good teams that go on to great success had a great structure. Now, when Arsenal over the years have won leagues and have won multiple trophies like we had a structure, we had a belief. And the problem I see with Arsenal, we don't have a belief. We don't have that. I just think that at times it's going to take time. I mean, how long, God only knows. Because, as I said a little while back, this will be the first time in Arsenal's history that we've gone 18 years, and in past history, I'm going back a long way in time, but we've always won a league trophy in 18 years. And this is the year we're not going to do it. And that's a great shame.
And this is the thing as well. Like, our fans for a long, long time, until Liverpool won that title, were sitting there taking the mick out of them, saying, 30 years, 20 years, 25 years, all that rubbish. And all of a sudden, they went, right, we've had Rodgers, we've had Roy Hodgson, it ain't worked. We're going to go and get Jurgen Klopp. Yeah, we can see what he's doing over in Germany. He's doing well. He's competing with the best team in Germany, which are, by the way, still the best team in Germany. But he was competing with them. And he was doing it on a team that would basically give their best player to Bayern Munich every season, and he was still competing, right? And they've got him in, and first thing he said is, right, we'll get rid of Coutinho. Yeah, we can get loads of dough for him. If we get rid of him, we can go and buy a proper goalkeeper and a proper centre half.
And
and that's what they've done. And when people were laughing at him when he drew against West Bromwich Albion, they all stood up and he knew exactly what he was doing. He got that City on board. Yeah, he got that City on board. He got the fans believing, right? And he got everyone tuned in to, we are going to compete. We are going to win stuff. If you listen to what I'm doing, we're going to win. And they have. And listen, their team is, I think their team's worth less than ours.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure their team's worth less than ours.
Yeah,
they bought Salah for 20 odd million, Mane for 20 odd million, Firmino for 20 odd million or 18 million. Yeah, the only two real big superstar signings they've made, the goalkeeper and Van Dijk. And Jota, you could say 40 mil. Yeah, but other than that, they ain't really gone out and done big money on players. They go and get Minamino in there. They're getting, James Milner, he'll play anywhere, and he's always putting in 8 out of 10 performances.
And they bought British, and they bought them from British clubs. They bought them from, Mane from Southampton, Salah, who was a flop at Chelsea, but excellent when he was in Italy. Came, like I said, reinventing himself. James Milner, who everyone calls, who I think is one of the best professionals of all time, who's a credit to the profession, was or he won the title with Man City, but he was at Newcastle, Aston Villa, and Leeds. But Oxlade-Chamberlain came from us, so they've always, Henderson, Sunderland. So I always look at some of our fans, and I think that when we always talk about a British player, I don't want him. No, I want someone from like La Ligue in France, or someone from Serie A or Spanish. And I'm thinking, for so many years, we've seen English players gone to evolve to do massive things, and I just don't. That's why probably I wasn't bothered that Ben White came to us. I wasn't bothered that Ramsdale came to us, because I thought, you know what, at least they're hungry. Well, and at least, they were going to sort of buy into this English spirit, which we always wanted, and that they've probably got to show that they care about the club, and that they're going to treat this as the biggest, best opportunity of a lifetime to play at a big club. And that's why, and from what I've seen from both of them, I haven't been disappointed at my hunch that they have grabbed this opportunity, and they understand that they are playing for a big club, and that they're going to give everything to do themselves justice at the football club. And that's all I've wanted from them. And their performances shout that they have.
No, that's all we want. This comment's kind of funny. We are going to wrap this up in a second, people. Yeah. Lee Panel, someone said this to me. Ashley Cole had a toxic mindset, and that our current young players won't leave Arsenal as the club are not restricted by the Emirates like they used to be. Were they fully bought into Arsene Wenger's ensemble of lies? Because we weren't restricted anyway. The stadium has just been paid off, 3 years ago by the Cronkies, and it was on a 25-year mortgage, which was around £20 million a year, right, for that 25 years. That £20 million payment every year, will qualifying for Champions League, paid it instantly. So we never had to sell our best players. We could have offered them new contracts. Van Persie, people say he was a snake and this and that. And I don't believe he was a snake. He wanted to win. And that's the aim of elite sport, is to win. Yeah, and he won't win in a title with us. Every player who has left Arsenal pretty much has gone on to win something when they've left. Yeah. So you can't knock them for that. The game is about winning. Anyone who thinks that if Liverpool, that story about Liverpool and Saka yesterday, I don't believe that story is true right now. That's just maybe just journalist talk, and they're trying to drum up a new contract for Saka because he's got 2.5 years left and he's in good form at the moment. But if Liverpool did come in for him and bid 70 million or 60 million for him, you best believe he's going, mate. Yeah, why wouldn't he? If Liverpool are still up there in a year's time or 2 years' time, which I believe they will be, and they're still in for titles in Champions Leagues, it'd be stupid not to want to go there. Yeah, because we ain't winning one with this manager. We don't do what's required to go and compete with the best in the world. And that Van Persie, when he came out on BT Sport and he said that I'd scored 30 odd goals the season before, and I was asking about a new contract, and they said, well, we're not sure. We'll think about it. And he wanted to see what direction we were going in. They never offered him a contract. because he wanted to see some sort of assurances that we were going to go and do what's required. I wouldn't have believed him. The only reason I did believe him is because previously Adebayor come out and said exactly the same. And said he came into training for pre-season. He just scored 30-odd goals the season before. And Wenger said, you're going to Man City. And if you don't go, you're in the reserves. He was like, boss, I don't want to go. Yeah, and people blamed Adebayor and said, he run the whole length of the pitch. I get why he run the whole length of the pitch now, because if that is true, and now when Van Persie come out a couple of years later and said exactly the same, it's like, well, it must be true then, isn't it? Because there's now two players that were our best striker, bagging 30 goals each, that both didn't get offered a new contract. Like, it's actually mad. And now, when you fast forward years and years down the road, 9 years down the road, nearly 10, we're now doing it with Aubameyang. We're basically out in our best striker again. And it's like...
Doesn't that just sum up what I just said? Structure of the club?
Yeah. And that's the thing.
Yeah, but
go on, Kenny. Sorry, mate. Go on.
The thing is, right, people seem to think, they go on about Arsene Wenger being Papa Wenger. He wouldn't have won all those trophies and stayed at Arsenal that long if he wasn't a ruthless bastard. I mean, he was the one who brought in, he was the one who was reluctant to give players, decent contracts after they reached 30. It was him who brought that crap in, and other clubs copied him. So that, he was ruthless when he had to be. Telling Aubameyang to do the Frank Boff because we want the money is a ruthless man. And telling Patrick Vieira, finally saying Patrick Vieira alongside his mate David Dean, that when Juventus came in for him, previously they persuaded him to stay, but afterwards they said neutral, sod off. We've got Fabregas. So, it just shows you that Arsenal can be ruthless and they want to be. And, that they're no different from anyone else. All this stuff about being a family club, blah, blah. Elite sport ain't about being family. When you've got players in academies dying to take your place, or the new kid in the block being used as a tool to keep a big star on his toes, as to say, look, and they always select. Why do you think people, managers, praise the young kid? Are they praising him because they think he's good? 9 out of 10, 7 out of 10 times they are. But the rest of the 30% is to say that, to let their experienced players play. All players in the team know that they're replaceable. It's psychology. It's a dog-eat world football is, and Arsenal's no different. But the problem with Arsenal is that we're victims of the dog-eat-dog world because, as you've said, Jez, Van Persie being taken off us by Man United, being given away, Nasri, Aboué, Adebayor, Fabregas, Ashley Cole, the greatest insult of all, go to Chelsea.
Over 5K a week.
He wasn't even in his prime. He wasn't even in his bloody prime before we let it go to Chelsea. And the bloody bastard went and won the league in the Champions League.
Yeah. He's won more FA Cups than most football clubs.
Yeah. And the club that we say had no history went, so what? We might not have history, but we got your best player.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what I mean?
Yeah, it's actually insane when you think about it. And this is the thing. Like, Jez, it comes back to what you said a minute ago, the mentality and the mindset. But this mentality and mindset has been here with different sets of players, different managers, different board members, different owners, from all the way back when Hillwood and all that lot were here. It's still the same, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Still the same, especially towards the end of the Highbury era, and then moving into that stadium. We split up that Invincible team inside 18 months. Yeah, ridiculous. Like, and then like people are putting in the chat, Vermaelen, Son, Kleb, like players like that. Son, people say Son weren't that great. Wait, the amount of times he dinked that ball over the top and Van Persie just slapped it in was just ridiculous. Yeah, he was an underrated player. He obviously flopped at Barcelona, but the fact is, as soon as a big club came to working for our players, we went, "Oh, okay, you can have them." Yeah, and let's be honest, that is down to our football club. Yeah, it's money. And that is down to our football club saying, well, we might not get another opportunity to sell Son for that. We might not get an opportunity to sell Nasri for that. As soon as we
were doing it way before that. Let's not forget. When Barcelona came calling for Petit and Overmars, did the same thing. I remember after Cardiff, when we lost the FA Cup final to Liverpool. I just seen my team smash the living daylights of Liverpool, still lost. And I was on the, at Cardiff, they used to have like a bus to take you to the car park where your cars were. And I said that we were in danger of being like West Ham and Spurs, being a selling club. And that was in May 2001, because by that time, Petit and Overmars forced through moves. A few years later,
we've done it for years. We did it with Liam Brady. Great, one of the greatest midfielders in English football at the time. And because was it Juventus or
Juventus? No, it's Juventus.
Juventus. They came knocking on the door. Oh yeah, we're saying that.
Yeah, Frank Stapleton, the Man United supporter, was never one of us anyway, but got the chance to go to Man United because, obviously Dublin was a Man United supporter, stuck two things like us. What about Finn Anderson? Went his last big contract in 87, 31. Alex Ferguson chirped and offered him more money. He'd done a bunk. So, you know what I mean? We've been
doing this for what, 40 years, 30 years.
That's why I say, shout for your club. Do not put player or any employer before the club. Your club is yours. They're good. They're well within their rights not to show you any loyalty. It's their careers.
Exactly.
They are employees of the club. They work for Arsenal. They don't support Arsenal.
Even if they do support the club, right? Let's be real here. Yeah? Even if they do support a football club, like I'll give an example. Jermaine Defoe. We all know he's an Arsenal fan. He went and played for Tottenham. Why? Because it's his career. Yeah.
And Chris Armstrong with Arsenal. John Pratt. Yeah, exactly. Remember John Pratt, Jez? He's from like Hoxton, Hoxton, Shoreditch area. Arsenal family went and played for that lot. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. Even if they are an Arsenal fan, they play for Arsenal.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, even if they come through the academy, don't think that they are fully Arsenal fans. Some of them might be. Saka might be an Arsenal fan, for all we know. He might be. But at the same time,
Campbell was an Arsenal fan, come from Brixton, but that's the only I can think of.
Smith Rowe's a Palace fan. Isn't it Smith Rowe's a Palace fan?
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I supported Palace. Kid.
And this is the thing. Even if they do support the club that they're playing for, right? If the club that they're playing for, it's not like back in the day when Alan Shearer could have gone United and turned them down, right? Because Newcastle, even though they didn't win anything with him, right? They were still challenging. They were in Champions League with Tino Asprilla and all of them ones. Like, they had a good team. They had a good manager. They were up there fighting. They bottled the title, but that's because that's because Fergie was in his prime at the time, and they just went on a mad fucking run. But they were competing every year. Arsenal ain't competing, so don't be deluded enough to think that if anyone that is competing comes in for any of our players, that they ain't going. Number one, the club want the money. We've seen that over the last 30 years with some of the players you've just listed. Number two, it's a short career, and it's all about winning. Yeah, and I think the only person, unless there's like backroom staff that I don't know about or haven't heard of, I think the only person that is actually at this football club since I started supporting it is David O'Leary. I don't think there's another person at this club that was here when I started supporting this club. So why did you get attached so highly to individuals? Like you said, the club's the star, Kenny. Yeah, it's Arsenal Football Club. It's not Arteta Football Club. It's not Wenger Football Club. It's not Saka or Smith Rowe Football Club. None of these players will be here in the next 15 years. So don't get too attached to them. Yeah, cheer them. Yeah, be like, yeah, they're brilliant. You know, yeah, cool. Support your players, whatever you want to do. It's up to you how you do it. But don't start putting players and managers above the club because they could give a shit half of them. It's a job. Half of them don't even like football. Yeah, they're only doing it because they're good at it. Benjamin White.
Jerry Carragher, he's a pork chop, but he's right about that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And he's another one. Grew up as an Evertonian. Yeah, went to Liverpool. Yeah, and he makes no bones about it. He's still an Evertonian. You know what I mean? But listen, we are going to wrap this up, people. Big up to everybody who's watching live, watching the playback. And he's getting called now. Arteta's on the phone saying, "What you talking about? Calling me a pork chop."
No, I've never called him a pork chop. I called there's loads of pork chops out there, but he hasn't got pork chop status because simple reason is that I don't rate him as a manager. I've never wanted him. I want him sacked. But do I respect the fact that he's that he's taking his job on, and he's got the balls to, without his experience, to put himself forward and think, right, I'm going to have a go at this. Bloody right, respect that. But I don't like his methods. I don't think he's good enough for Arsenal. And that's the difference.
We should change the name of this podcast to the Pork Chop Podcast. Listen, big up to both of you, man. I appreciate you giving up your time on New Year's Eve. I know that both of you are off out. Make sure you enjoy the evening. It's been a shit year for a lot of us.
Oh, it's been terrible for both me, all of us, really. You've lost mates. Me and Chess have lost the most important, life-giving person in our lives this year.
Yeah, it's been a crap one, man. Yeah, it's been crap. But listen, fingers crossed, 2022 is better. It starts tomorrow with Man City. Before we wrap up, score prediction, Jez.
3-0 City.
Kenny?
2-0 City. Sorry, lads. No, it's not a big, it's not a beat down. It's just that City are just too good, too strong.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to say 5-1. Yeah, mate, I've seen them play all season. I'm going to trigger all the little Arteta fangirls tomorrow because I'm going to wear my Mahrez shirt back to front again. And they'll all be crying, look at him. Oh, he's not Arsenal. But yeah, listen,
say one more thing to everyone in the panel. You know what? It's been a shit year, but next year, you know what? All I can say to a lot of you people, do not worry about what people think about you. Don't. And that's, there's a reason why, you're doing what you're doing and why you're still being able to do what you do is because, a lot of people think you're good at what you do and you've got a fan base. Don't change, to get more followers. Don't let people with big accounts try to influence you and to be what you're not. Because I'll tell you one thing, right? They don't love themselves, people who try to influence people. They've got low self-esteem. So they try to take your self-esteem with them. Don't let that happen. As I said, 100%. If anything, this year's taught all of us who've lost people.
Don't matter.
Remember, the people we're grieving for are people who are worth it and had our best interests at heart. These people don't like us. Get in a bin, you pork chops. Get stuffed. There's nothing you're going to say that's going to make me change my opinion on Arteta or the way I express myself. Sod off.
That's true. And listen, at the end of the day, people that don't like what you're saying are never going to like what you're saying regardless. So why are you going to dress it up and lie? Just say what you believe in. Yeah, and at the end of the day, the best feeling is knowing that you can come on camera, show your face, which half of these people don't, and actually have the balls to back your talk and not give two fucks what anyone thinks. Yeah, when you've got that, and I've had that in my life for a long time, I don't care what people think. I stopped trying to impress people when I was 18. Yeah, that was a long, long time ago. I'm 40 next year. So it's like, once you've got that mindset of, I'm going to say what I want to say, and I really couldn't give a shit whether you like it or not. Once you have that mentality, life's easy, man. It's easy. Yeah. Because then you've got the confidence to sit and say it with your pigeon chest, in my case, not as big as you, Kenny, but you've got the confidence to say what you want to say, knowing it don't really matter what these people think. I don't know anyone. I don't know any of these people in here. I see names and I see everyone in here and I rate everyone that does come and watch it. If people don't like it, I ain't losing no sleep over it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what got to lose. These people, they it's like they're worshipping false idols. They go on their Twitter and they go on like they're something nonsense. I mean, there's quite a few people that, they could just say the equivalent, the cat sat on a mat and done a fart and people will just go like, because and they know that because people, they have that much power, but they're actually not saying anything. You could talk a lot and go on Twitter, go on Instagram or even podcast, but what you're saying, you say a comment, qualify that, come out and put more meats on the bones. A lot of people can't do that.
No.
They use the power of the fact that they've got a lot of followers and a lot of views on social media, and they say something, and automatically they're they're, you know, like I said, they're love childs. Boom, boom, like, agree with what they say. And sometimes when you question them, they don't say nothing because they've got nothing to say, because all their minions will go and back them and try and have pylons. And that's the thing. These people who try to influence you, all like that. They're basically worth fact.
100%. Listen, big up to everybody in this chat and everybody that's watching this on playback. I will be live again with Rants in an hour and a half on his Twitch channel, Rants and Rants Official. Tomorrow it'll be a full match day schedule as normal. I will not be hungover because I'm not going out anywhere. And I'm going to sit and chill, watch the fireworks go off, and I'm going to bed. But listen, thanks for all the support on this channel all year, man. You lot have been relentless. Honestly, every channel I go on, you're there, spamming chats and everything. So listen, you lot are the best community on here. And yes, we'll grow a lot slower than other channels. But you know what? It's organic, yeah, and it's not a massive high and a massive drop. We're building something that's going to be here for another 10, 15 years, hopefully. And yeah, big up to Saeed in the chat as well. Free hit tomorrow. Mate, it's always a free hit against Liverpool and Man City, innit? Because that's how we roll, bruv.
Make sure you had 2 free hits against City and Liverpool. Was it 7-0 in aggregate, mate?
At least they sacked their manager, a proper one. Yeah, at least they've got a proper manager now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, we'll take a few. Well, I'll take a few spankings if it means he gets sacked. But listen, we are going to wrap this up. Come join me with Rants and Bants official Twitch in an hour and a half. Kenny, have a lovely evening. Jez, have a lovely evening.
I'll do my best. I like lamb chops, not pork chops.
Same here. Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you all, man. Bless up to all you. And we're out of here. Thank you for that super chat as well, Taryn. I'll tet her out.